Warren Buffett pays someone $47 an hour to iron his shirts. Not because he cannot afford better. Because he calculated exactly what 1 hour of his time is worth, and ironing is not it. That is not a flex. That is a system. And nobody taught you that system exists. Here's what they did teach you. Work harder. Hustle more hours. Grind until something breaks. What they never mentioned is that the people actually building wealth are doing the opposite. They are aggressively buying back their hours. They track every single one. And they have a specific dollar number where the math flips. The point where doing a task yourself actually costs you money. That number, for most people building their first real wealth, lands somewhere around $47 per hour. And if you have never heard of the calendar audit system, that is not an accident. Let me explain why this matters to your bank account right now. You currently have 168 hours in a week. Everyone does. The difference between someone earning $50,000 a year and someone earning $500,000 is not intelligence. It is not luck. It is how many of those hours are pointed at high-value activity versus low-value activity. Research from the Harvard Business Review tracked over 1,000 CEOs across 6 countries. The highest performers spent 24% more of their time on tasks only they could do. The lower performers were drowning in tasks anyone could do. That gap in time allocation explained more of the income gap than education, industry, or starting capital combined. So where does $47 come from? Here is the first revelation. It is not a magic number. It is a threshold. To find your threshold, you take your target annual income and you divide it by 2,000, the average working hours in a year. If you want to earn $100,000, your hour is worth $50. If you are stuck at $40,000, your hour is currently priced at $20. The $47 figure became a cultural shorthand because it sits right at the boundary of the first 6-figure income. It is the exact point where outsourcing almost anything, grocery runs, bookkeeping, email sorting, becomes mathematically profitable instead of indulgent. Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx and a self-made billionaire, has talked openly about the moment she realized she was spending 3 hours a week handling shipping logistics for her early orders. 3 hours. At her eventual valuation, that was millions of dollars of her time going into a task a 17-year-old with a part-time job could handle. She hired someone at $12 an hour and redirected those 3 hours into sales calls. Revenue tripled in 90 days. She did not work more. She worked at the right price point. If this kind of insight surprised you, subscribe right now. This channel covers what financial media ignores on purpose. The actual mechanics behind wealth that most outlets will never explain because it does not sell ads to people who feel helpless. Now here is the deeper layer. Most people hear this concept and immediately think it only applies to billionaires. That is the mental trap. The calendar audit system is specifically designed for people who are not rich yet, because that is when the leverage is highest. When you earn $40,000 a year, every hour you reclaim and redirect is worth exponentially more than when you earn $400,000. You are not just saving time. You are compressing the timeline to a completely different income bracket. The math accelerates fastest before you have resources, not after. Here is how the audit actually works. You take a blank sheet of paper and divide it into 2 columns. Left column. Tasks that require your specific skills, relationships, or judgment. Right column. Everything else you did this week. Be brutal. Email scheduling goes in the right column. Driving across town to pick up supplies goes in the right column. Fixing the same spreadsheet formula for the 4th time goes in the right column. Now count the hours in that right column. Multiply by your current hourly rate. That number is what your busyness is costing you every single week. The next step is finding the cheapest way to eliminate one item from that right column. Not all of them. 1. Fiverr, TaskRabbit, a local college student, a virtual assistant for $8 an hour overseas. The delivery mechanism does not matter. What matters is proving to your own brain that buying back hours works. Most people who did this for the first time find between 6 and 12 hours per week sitting in tasks that cost less than $20 per hour to outsource. That is 6 to 12 hours that suddenly become available for skill building, relationship building, or side income. Over a year, that is between 300 and 600 hours. Redirected properly, that is the difference between staying stuck and crossing the threshold. Tim Ferriss documented this exact experiment in a way most people missed. He did not outsource to become lazy. He outsourced specifically to reclaim time for high-value learning. Every hour he bought back went directly into building skills that multiplied his income. The outsourcing was not the strategy. It was the fuel for the actual strategy. Here is what nobody tells you about the $47 threshold. Once you cross it, the system compounds. Because when you start earning more per hour of genuine work, your threshold number rises. You keep auditing, you keep buying back, the ceiling keeps moving. People who understand this never stop running the audit. It becomes a quarterly habit. Not because they are obsessed with efficiency, but because they know that where your hours go is where your financial future goes. The system is not rigged, but the information is deliberately scattered. You are only supposed to find this stuff after you already have money. The whole point of this channel is to hand you the map before you need it. Do not close this video yet. In the next video in this series, we go deeper into the specific 6 tasks that millionaires outsource first, and the one task almost everyone outsources that actually backfires. If you leave now, you are going to make that exact mistake. Stay for the next one.